Hi everyone, welcome to Gateway Lectures. Here we have our solutions to the quiz day 10 and today's topic is about IC engines. Here the first question. The engine of a car has 4 cylinders of 70 mm bore and 75 mm stroke each. So each cylinder is having a bore of 70 mm and a stroke of 75 mm. The compression ratio is 8. For all the cylinders the compression ratio is 8. The total cubic capacity cc of the engine, so we need cubic capacity in cc, nothing but centimeter cube. It can also be called a centimeter cube of the engine, and the clearance volume of each cylinder r. So we need to calculate the total cubic capacity and also the clearance volume. So first of all, before going into the solution, we will discuss what exactly is the volume of the cylinder volume regarding the IC engine. There are actually two types of volume. One is called the swept volume or else the stroke volume or else displacement volume right, and the other thing is clearance volume. Okay, and one more important thing is the total cubic capacity, the cc of the engine. So whenever you see a bike engine or a car engine, about it will be saying 800 cc, 1200 cc, 1700 cc, 1750 cc, and in bikes you will be seeing around 90 cc, 100 cc, 150, 250, 390 and so on. So what exactly is the cc? The cc is total cubic capacity of the engine. Here it is not specifying about the cylinder, it is about the engine. This volume, whatever we are talking here, two types of volume, is for cylinder. So that is a difference. So if it is asked cc of the engine, then we have to include all the cylinders and calculate the value of the swept volume for all the cylinders, or the stroke volume for all the cylinders. That is the amount of air that engine can breathe in from moving from top dead center to bottom dead center is called as swept volume, and the total of all the swept volumes of the complete engine set is called as the cubic capacity of the engine. So whenever in bikes you will be generally seeing 4-stroke engines, bikes you will be seeing 4-stroke SI engines, and in previous models of bikes you used to see 2-stroke engines, right? So these are all single cylinder stroke engines. So if it is a twin cylinder engine, then there are 2 cylinders in the bike, then each cylinder will having different swept capacity. And if we are talking about the total cubic capacity of the engine, then it will be the summation of both the cylinders swept volume, right? So it is a total cubic capacity. If we talk about cylinder volume, there are two types. One is the swept volume and other is the clearance volume, right? How we will be seeing this as swept and clearance? Generally, in all the engines, in IC engines, all the cycles in IC engine, we will be considering that they are always having a constant pressure. The compression process is an isentropic process. Always the compression and expansion are isentropic. So for these engines, we assumed that the compression and expansion process are always isentropic. So on a PV diagram, the isentropic curve will be in this way, right? The isentropic curve will be in this way, and only the compression process of the isentropic curve will be in this way. So 1 to 2. Here, how to represent the swept volume and how to represent the clearance volume. See here, this volume is V1. We will represent it point by V1, and this point is V2, right? The difference between V2 and V1 is called as the swept volume. So it is, V1 minus V2. V1 minus V2 is called the swept volume, and clearance volume is V2. How we will represent on it is, we have to consider the distance from the origin to that point. Suppose if you want to calculate V1, then you need to calculate the total value V1. If you want to calculate the clearance volume, then we need to take only this volume, and it is V2, nothing but V clearance. If you want to take swept volume, it will be in between the V1 and V2, right? Why we need a clearance volume? That all it is theoretical. We'll just summarize it as for accommodating spark in SI engines and for compression engines to allow the self ignition to start in that place. Okay, when the piston is near to the top dead center, so we need a clearance volume. So these were the basic summary why we need a clearance volume. We'll go into the question till now. It fits. More time we discussed about this. So first of all, the cylinders bore and stroke were given, compression ratio is given. First thing we need to calculate is total cubic capacity. So this is the cylinder, this is the bore diameter, and this is the stroke, right? So first of all, for one cylinder, nothing but each cylinder swept is equal to swept is equal to pi by 4 d square into L. That is nothing but equal to pi by 4 into the value of d is given as 70 mm, nothing but 7 centimeters. So 7 square into L is 7.5 centimeters. 75 mm is given. Once we calculate the swept volume, it comes out to be 288.63 centimeter cube. If we calculate the total cubic capacity or total swept volume, the total cubic capacity of the engine, not the cylinder, total cubic capacity of the engine, it is 4 cylinders. Into each cylinder the swept volume is 288.63, and that comes out to be 1155, nearly close to 1155 cc. Okay, and this is our answer for the one of the part. And the other part is clearance volume. How to calculate clearance volume? Always remember these terms: compression ratio. What does exactly mean by compression ratio? What is the cutoff ratio? You remember these terms. Whenever you talk about compression ratio, it is always, see, this is our PV diagram. For any engine, the compression will be an isentropic process. It will be an isentropic process, right? And this will be state 1 and this will be state 2. And this point is V1, and this point is V2, and this point is P1, and this point is P2. So always, generally compression ratio is defined as initial volume upon final volume, or it can also be defined by P2 upon P1. That is the compression ratio. And this initial volume V1, whatever V1 we have, that V1 we can write it as V swept plus V clearance. That already we discussed. This is the V swept, and this is our VC, and total V1 will be equal to VC plus VS upon V2 is nothing but VC. From that we will get it as VS by VC plus 1, right? And that is equal to the RP. In question VS was known, RP was known. We can calculate VC. The VS upon VC is equal to RP was given in the question as, I remember the compression ratio was given as 8, so 8 minus 1. From that VC is equal to VS 288.63 upon 7, and that comes out to be 41.23 cc. For cylinder, we mentioned it not, we may not take to an rounded off value. This can be the answer, but for engine we need to take it to an rounded off value. And this is our second question. The compression ratio of the diesel engine is 15. We will directly write what are the values given in the question, so it will get beating very fast. RP is equal to 15. The compression ratio always we denote it by RP. The temperature at the end of compression is 900 Kelvin. The temperature at the end of heat addition is 2000 Kelvin. The mass of the gas used, the mass of the gas is 1.5 kg, which is being circulated. The ratio of specific heats is gamma is 1.4, and the gas constant value is given as 0.287 kilojoule per kg Kelvin. The percentage of stroke volume completed during heat addition. So first of all, it is given the diesel engine. So for diesel engine, we will take the PV diagram. How will be the PV diagram for the diesel engine? You know, for diesel engine, always the compression expansion will be isentropic, and for diesel engine, the heat addition takes place at constant pressure, and heat rejection for any cycle, it will always takes place at constant volume. So this is our first, it will be an isentropic compression, then it will be a constant pressure heat addition, and then it will be a isentropic expansion, and again it is a constant volume heat rejection. Okay, this was the cycle. Heat will be added into the system at constant pressure, heat will be rejected out of the system at constant volume, and this is our PV diagram. Okay, and on the PV diagram let us observe the points. 1 2 is the compression, 2 to 3 is the heat addition, 3 to 4 is the expansion, and 4 to 1 is heat rejection, right? And here they were being asked the percentage of stroke volume completed during the heat addition. So first of all, what is the stroke volume here? This is V1 and this is V2, and this is our total stroke volume or the swept volume, and this is V3. So in the question we were asked to calculate this value is what percent of this. So we will be keeping it a value V heat addition. So in the question we were asked what is the percentage of V heat addition out of the total swept volume. Okay, so this we will calculate it easily. First of all, we will take this, we will let us the percentage as some x, so that we will solve here. First of all, we will take the percentage as some x. V heat addition is equal to the x times the V swept, right? Am I right? And V heat addition is between 2 to 3 process, so it is V3 minus V2, that is equal to x times of V swept is nothing but V1 minus V2. From these both the terms on the left, LHS and RHS, we will take the V2 common and it will be cancelled. So it will be V3 by V2 minus 1, that is equal to x into V1 by V2 minus 1. And for diesel engine, there will be something called cutoff ratio, where during the heat addition at particular point, the fuel supply to the engine will be cut off. That is called as cutoff ratio, and that is given by V3 upon V2, and that is also equal to T3 upon T2, since it is a constant pressure process, T3 upon T2. And in the question here the data were given. The temperature at the end of compression is 900 Kelvin, nothing but the 0.2, it is 900 Kelvin. The temperature at the end of the heat addition is 2000 Kelvin, that will be the maximum temperature in the cycle, that is 2000 Kelvin. So we will write the values, and also the compression ratio we know, we have discussed always, nothing but V1 by V2, and that is nothing but P2 upon P1. Right. So here V3 by V2, we can write it as T3 upon T2. Right. So V3 upon V2 is T3 upon T2 minus 1, that is equal to x times of V2 upon V1 is nothing but compression ratio, and it was given in the question as 15. So it is 15 minus 1 is 14. And T3 in the question is given as 2000, and T2 in the question is given as 900 Kelvin. So x into 14, and from that we will get the value of x as 0.0873, and it was asked in percentage. In percentage it will be 8.73%, and this is our answer for this question. Next we will be moving to question number 3. Morse test for a 2-cylinder 2-stroke SI engine. So we are conducting Morse test. You once go through the procedure how we conduct Morse test, for what purpose we conduct Morse test. Okay, the brake power was 10 kilowatts. Morse test will be conducting it to calculate the frictional power mostly. Okay, the brake power was 10 kilowatt, whereas the brake power of individual cylinder, so for these 2 cylinders the brake power was given as, for the 2 cylinders we will represent by 1,2 as 10 kilowatts. And the brake power for individual cylinder, how we will calculate brake power for individual cylinder? Suppose we are calculating for cylinder 1, then we will cut off the fuel supply to the cylinder 2, such that the total power to the shaft, the crankshaft, will be given only by the first cylinder. If we were to calculate the brake power for second cylinder, then we will cut off the fuel for the first cylinder. That is, we will only the complete power to the crankshaft is given by the second engine. Then we will that from there we will calculate the brake power for second engine. Okay, so brake power for 1 and 2 was given, and brake power individually for the individual cylinders were given as, brake power for 1 is given as 4.75 kilowatts, and brake power for 2 was given as 4 kilowatts. And in the question they were set to asked us to calculate mechanical efficiency of the total engine. The mechanical efficiency is nothing but brake power total 1 comma 2 both the engines upon the indicated power of the both the engines. So how will you go with mechanical efficiency? See here in the question, the brake power for total engines, both the engines were given. So we need to calculate the indicated power for the both engines. So how will you calculate? We'll proceed here. First of all, we know indicated power is nothing but equal to brake power plus frictional power. And also in the question it is said when frictional power is constant. So in each cylinder or combining both the cylinders, the total frictional power is getting out in the Morse test as constant. Okay, the IP1 we can write it as, or else first we'll take for the total two cylinders. IP1 and 2 is equal to BP of 1 and 2 plus the frictional power is constant, so we'll just write it as frictional power. And this IP of 1 and 2 can also be written as IP of 1 plus IP of 2. Right. This is let it be this equation number A, equation A, let's suppose. Next step is we'll calculate the indicator power for the first engine. Nothing but the brake power for first engine plus frictional power. Since it is a constant, we'll keep it as a constant. Right. And the brake power for the one of the engine, first engine was given as 4.75 plus frictional power. Let this be B. And the third step will calculate IP2 mean indicator power for the second cylinder, nothing but BP2 plus FP, and BP2 was given in the question as 4 kilowatt plus FP. Let this be C. So our first step is A minus B. Okay, by doing A minus B, that is BP of 1 comma 2 plus FP minus BP of 1 plus FP is nothing but IP of 1 comma 2 minus IP of 1. Right. FP and FP will be on subtraction, they will be cancelled out, and BP 1 comma 2 was given in the question as 10 and the BP 1 was given in the question as 4.75, and that is nothing but 2. And I of 1 comma 2, IP of 1 comma 2 can be written as IP1 plus IP2, IP1 plus IP2. So if we write this as IP1 plus IP2, and also we are having a minus of IP1, then we'll get from here we'll get the value of IP2 as 5.25 kilowatts. Right. In the same way we'll also calculate B minus C. You make that calculation. From that we'll get the value of IP1, and it comes out to be 6 kilowatt. In the same procedure we'll do for B minus C, the equation B minus A minus C. We'll perform A minus C here. Okay, we'll perform A minus C, equation A minus equation C. Again there we'll get IP1 1 comma 2 minus IP2 we'll get, and IP1 comma 2 is nothing but IP1 plus IP2 minus IP2. Then we'll get the value of IP1 as 6 kilowatts. From that both we can write the value of IP1 comma 2 nothing but equal to IP1 plus IP2 as 6 plus 5.25 kilowatts, and that comes out to be 11.25 kilowatts. Okay, IP1 comma 2 was also obtained. Then our mechanical efficiency of the engine can be written as brake power for both the engine was given as 10 kilowatt upon the IP was 11.25 into 100, and that comes out to be 88.88%. Right, and that is our final answer for the given question. Next we will go into the next question number 4. The efficiencies of Otto and diesel cycles are same. In these IC engines, only in 2 chapters we will be having formula, and the other testing is very easy. Nothing, all these IP, BP, the variation between the terms, we'll be taking all the terms. It is all a basic mathematics, so we don't consider it as a numerical part. But generally in IC engines we will be having only 2 chapters, 2 units which will be having numericals. One will be about the cycles, about complete analysis of the cycles, what all the efficiency, cutoff ratio and all the formulas. There we need to remember only basic definitions, what exactly is RP, the volumetric efficiency, and what is the efficiency for Otto cycle, what is the efficiency for diesel cycle, and what is the efficiency for dual cycle, what are the terms involved in them. So on that basic we'll be solving all the questions which are given directly from them. And the second comes to be testing and performance. In testing and performance, we'll be having all this brake power, indicated power, brake specific fuel consumption, indicator specific fuel consumption, and brake thermal efficiency, indicator thermal efficiency, and we'll be having mechanical efficiency terms. So all the plays about these formulae. So once you study IC engines, only 2 chapters will be very specifically important for GATE. Okay, and here is so today's questions are all basic questions. Later on we will be doing, once again when we come to IC engines quiz, then we will doing very hard or very highly concepted questions. These are all basic questions which we sometimes once by initially seeing the question we may feel some difficulty in understanding, but these are all very easy questions. So here comes our fourth question. The efficiency of Otto cycle and efficiency of diesel cycles are same. The cutoff ratio of the diesel cycle and cutoff ratio is denoted by RC and it is given by 3. We know that. Cutoff ratio for the diesel cycle is given as 3, and also the gamma is assumed to be 1.4, and given to calculate the ratio of compression ratio of two cycles. So we need to calculate the compression ratio of Otto cycle to the compression ratio of diesel cycle. That is what we need to calculate. Okay, how will we attend to this? Simple. The given condition is Otto cycle efficiency is equal to diesel cycle efficiency. Generally, Otto cycle efficiency will be greater than diesel cycle efficiency for the same compression ratio. There are many such relations. If the compression ratio is 1 or the same, then efficiency of Otto cycle will be greater than efficiency of diesel cycle, right? But here in the question, efficiency was given same. Then the compression ratio will not be the same. We need to calculate its ratio. So the Otto cycle efficiency is 1 minus 1 upon, directly I am writing out the formula, 1 minus 1 upon Rp power gamma minus 1, and the diesel cycle efficiency is 1 minus 1 by gamma into 1 by Rp of diesel power gamma minus 1 into Rc power gamma minus 1 upon Rc minus 1, right? And we'll just substitute all the values here. 1 minus Rp power 0.4 into 1 minus 1 by 1.4 into 1 by Rp. Here Rp is for Otto, here Rp for diesel, power 0.4 gamma minus 1, nothing but, and Rc is given as 3 power gamma, 3 power 1.4 minus 1 upon 3 minus 1. Here we'll do simplifications. 1 and 1 will be cancelled, negative also will be cancelled out. Then what we are left with we'll be calculating Rp of diesel upon Rp of this diesel engine upon Rp of this Otto cycle, and that will be writing it as, in the question, ratio of compression to the 2 cycles are actually the what should be the ratio, it is not mentioned in the question. We'll calculate for the both. When the question is specific to that, we'll do with it. So we'll calculate for the both, Rp of diesel to the Rp of Otto also. Here in the question, maybe while we are framing this, we forgot to mention that what exactly ratio of Otto to diesel or diesel to Otto. We'll calculate both, nothing but it's the issue of calculation. And this will be 3 power 1.4 minus 1 upon 3 minus 1 into 1 by 1.4, and once this 0.4 on the both will be going into this side, it will be 1 by 1.4. Once we calculate this Rp of diesel upon Rp of Otto, then it comes out to be 1.94. Okay, then we will do for the reverse of this, Rp of Otto upon Rp of diesel, that comes out to be 0.5154. Okay, and these were the answers to this question. We will be going to the next question, the last question. And compression ignition engine develops indicated power of 60 kilowatt at full load condition. This question is all about game of English. What exactly is full load? Whenever you see the term full load, then we need to take the total brake power. Okay, and whenever it is at 50% load, then we need to take 50% of the brake power, nothing but 0.5 into brake power total. If it is at 75% of load, then we have to take 0.75 into brake power of total. Then the game is over for this question. The compression ignition engine develops indicated power of 60 kilowatt at full load condition. At 50% load, the mechanical efficiency was given as 50%. Okay, so initially the indicated power rate 100% is given, so I will not mention any 100%, 50% or anything. We know that if it is full load, we need to take 100% load, then we need to take BP. So IP is equal to BP plus FP. And also in the question, one more important statement is frictional power to be as constant. Frictional power is as constant, so this will remain constant, and this will be equal to 60 kilowatt, right? This will be keeping aside, keep it an equation 1. And next, it was given at 50% load, the efficiency. So efficiency at 50% load is PP at 50% upon, efficiency, mechanical efficiency is nothing but BP upon IP at 50%. So the BP of 50% will be 0.5 times of BP upon IP at 50% will be 0.5 times of BP, and frictional power remaining constant, it will be FP. And that is given in the question as efficiency is given as 50%, nothing but 0.5. So we'll send the denominator to the right side, or else we'll do one more simplification here, easy simplification. This 0.5 and this 0.5 will be cancelled. Then we'll be getting it as BP is equal to 0.5 times BP plus FP. We don't know FP here, so what we'll do is, from this equation, FP can be written as 60 minus BP, right? So here BP plus BP plus 0.5, BP is equal to 0.5 BP, and that FP value is 60 minus of BP. So here in the question, from the efficiency is equal to 50%, nothing but BP at 50% upon IP at 50%, and 0.5 BP at 50% is nothing but 0.5 times the BP of total upon IP at 50% is nothing but 0.5 of BP plus frictional power is said to be taken as constant, it will be constant, and that is given as 50%, nothing but 0.5. By simplifying this, we will be getting BP is equal to 0.5 BP plus FP. And here we don't know frictional power. We will be calculating frictional power from this equation 0.1, the first equation. FP is equal to 60 minus of BP. That will be substituting here, 60 minus BP. From that we will get our final BP brake power value 40 kilowatts. Once the brake power was known, indicated power was known, already given in the question, then we can calculate the mechanical efficiency at 100% load. That is nothing but BP upon IP. That is nothing but 40 upon 60 into 100. And that answer comes out to be 66.667%. This is our answer for question number 5. Today, these were the questions on IC engines. These are all basic questions. It was just to make a practice of these questions, just to know the type of question being asked. Not much depth than this were asked in GATE, but we can expect some more conceptual things here, like when volumetric efficiency is involved, when calculation of mass flow rates and everything, air fuel ratio. There are many numericals on it. On the next coming quiz sessions or on the numerical shorts, we'll be doing those questions. And thanks for watching today's lecture.